What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Bull Season 1, Episode 17, Name Game. So, this one provides another type of case, which is always interesting whenever the show's involved. And it provides a bit more, I guess, insight onto some of the characters and what they're going through, and overall, it's a fairly interesting story. Now, there are a couple things that for me didn't work. First of all, the CEO, bank manager, who sounded like he was trying to do a Leonard Snart impression from Legends of Tomorrow. Like he was just talking like this all the time, like he was evil or something. I'm just like, what is that? Like, why are you trying to sound like Wentworth Miller as Leonard Snart? It was bizarre. But anyway, but yeah, his character didn't really work for me because I don't know. It was like they were trying to make him seem overly evil. I guess part of it is because he's not really the one responsible for it directly, but he still doesn't really care about it to make us feel like, oh, if he loses, I want to see him lose. I don't know. It feels like you could just make him a normal CEO. Like, he just doesn't know what's going on in his business, and so whenever he loses, we can actually kind of feel like, well, is he really responsible for it, though? But instead, they just decide to make it all easy to accept, like, oh, look at how evil he is. Don't you want to see him get what's coming to him? So, I don't know. That was a little disappointing. The other thing that didn't really work was the whole relationship building between Benny and what's her face, one of the first clients that comes to them. I don't know. It just first of all it pops up out of nowhere. Like they instantly hit it off, and then at the end of the episode, Benny says, I'm just not ready for that right now. It's not the right time. And Bull goes up to her and says, just go after what you want. Get what you want. And I half expected her to look at Benny and be like, okay, I will. But she didn't. I'm like, oh, great. Well, they're not going to end it in a cheesy romantic tone. That's great. That's fine. It's one thing to have two people hook up like that, where they hit it off and then they kiss and then it's all lovey-dovey after that. But to have an episode where that happens and they accept, okay, now is not the right time, maybe later, but not right now. And then they end it with she shows up at his door with a bottle of champagne saying, a wise man told me to go after what I want, so here I am. I'm like, God. Why? I don't care. It's cheesy and sloppily written. And why? Like, you didn't need that. You could have broken the mold. You could have said, you know what? Most shows would end with them hooking up at the end. We're going to end it in a little different tone. They accept the fact that they don't have to be together right now. But no, they just say, screw that. We got to have a romantic scene at the end. Hook 'em up, guys. Come on, write that scene at the end. Write it in. Go ahead, write it now. Write it now. Write it. Don't you talk back to me. You write that scene in. They need to hook up at the end. We have to have that happen. I don't know who that is. It's just a random guy I'm talking to. So anyway, that part was also frustrating. And then on top of that, the judge, I don't know. Here's the thing. If this judge was thrown in there to sort of make the case more difficult, that would be one thing. But as it is, the case is already difficult enough. I mean, you look at the fact that they're putting a lot of money into this and may not make any back. And on top of that, you're trying to prove something to a jury that it wasn't picked by Bull. Like, he got himself kicked out, so he couldn't be there for that. And so, now they have to deal with that, and they have to deal with the fact that it's really hard to prove this type of case. That's already enough to deal with. And then on top of that, you throw this judge, which hates Bull just because he cheated at golf one time. And according to Bull, it's not even that. He actually kicked an acorn. He thought he was kicking his ball. And so that's the only reason he hates him. First of all, that's an overly silly reason to hate somebody. And second of all, it's so dumb on top of all the really real reasons that this case is difficult. So you look at all the reasons that the case is difficult, you're like, wow, that's a lot to deal with. And then you throw this overly silly, over-the-top judge who's played by the doctor from Psych. And I'm just like, I don't know, it's not needed. It's not, if he was over the top and silly, that would be one thing. But he actually seems like he's a normal person, but he hates Bull for the slightest of reasons. And that's just making the case even harder for them. And despite of that, at the end of this, that they're going to end up winning the case because, one, they'd pretty much be out of work if they lost it, and two, all of these people that were shirked by this scam, that they're going to get justice because that's kind of what the show is about, is getting justice for those who deserve it. So I don't think we're really going to see any losing cases until maybe the end of the season. It's like maybe a cliffhanger. We'll see somebody who should win, but then they lose, and that kind of ends off on a holy crap we lost note or something like that. I don't know. But for an episode like this, which is kind of filler as far as the story and the case goes, I don't think we're gonna see many of these, if any at all, being losses, and especially in a case where so many people, if this was a loss, if so many people were gonna be just completely no justice at all for these people, I don't think we're gonna see anything like that. So, but aside from all of those problems I do have, I still did enjoy this episode for a few different reasons. One, it was interesting to kind of see a different dynamic between Bull and Benny. Just because at first it seems like Benny's just not listening to Bull, but we see that there's something else going on with him, and Bull notices it too. And so at the end of the episode, just that moment where they're in the car, and he's like, "Are you going to tell me about what's going on?" And he's just like, "Nah, it's nothing." And Bull just looks at him and says, "Hey, Benny, get it together." And that's all it takes. And you know that they've got that kind of friendship that you don't need a whole lot of words to explain. It just, you understand it. And so I think Bull understands. He doesn't know exactly what's going on with him, but he understands what's going on with him. And so I don't know, I like the dynamic that they have between the two of them. On top of that, I do think that some of Benny's decisions were really interesting in this one. Just because, I don't know, it feels like this is the first time that Benny's just completely gone against what Bull has asked. You know, there have been times where he questions him, or maybe he throws his own little spin into it. This time he just completely goes against him. And just doesn't listen to a word he says, goes against something. He said not to put the woman up on the stand. He does. And then he says, don't call for this judge to be removed, and he does. And he's just, every single turn, it felt like he was going up against Bull. And so it made the case that much more difficult. Once again, one of those reasons for why this case was so difficult. But this one, unlike the judge, actually felt like it was real. There was something going on there where it's almost like because of this whole thing where he's being investigated, he feels like he needs to prove his own worth. And so he's doing things that Bull's telling him not to do because he thinks, but I think it's a good idea. And so it's almost like he's starting to think that his opinion isn't as valued. And so he's just kind of going with his own gut instead of listening to what Bull's trying to tell him. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go and how long it's going to carry on, because I can't imagine Bull's just going to be like, "Oh yeah, another case and you completely go against what I say? Yeah, that's fine." I feel like at some point he's going to say, "We got to stop this." And on top of that, I just think the fact that, like I said, it's a new type of case, the class action suit. We haven't seen a case like this. We haven't seen a case where a bunch of people are suing this one company. And just, I don't know, seeing that in effect, seeing how that's all handled, I like that. I like whenever they can bring us a different type of case that we haven't seen before. So, all in all, I mean, it was still enjoyable. The case was still enjoyable. Just those little things are kind of knocking it down a little bit. And I don't know, for a show like this, because it's on CBS and it's another one of those shows, pretty much like most CBS shows, to be honest, where it's just sort of average and, things are changing slightly, but not really. Because that's honestly what CBS shows most of the time do. They give you what you expect, but nothing too much. Nothing that's going to throw you off, throw you for a loop or anything like that. Most shows on CBS just do that. They give you an average episode. There's some things in most of the episodes that you're just like, that wasn't great, or that wasn't memorable. But overall, you still just kind of enjoy it for what it is. So, it's another episode for Bull. Looking forward to seeing how this is going to end, because I'm assuming they're going to get to the point of this season near the end of it. I'm pretty sure there are only like 3 or 4 more episodes. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they're all going to end this. I'm assuming it has something to do with Benny's case that is getting overturned right now. I hope it is. It would be very interesting to see what they're going to do there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they got planned. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all the good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Bull reviews, and I'll see you at the next one.